Hello and welcome. I am Erica Poplinski-Burge. Thank you for being here with me this morning. I know you have so many places that you could be, and I am honored that you are here, whether you have your screen on or you're just sitting there folding laundry. I have done both during sessions before. I am happy that you are here with me because I love working with teachers. Today, we are going to talk about interview videos, and we do have them available in all languages. And they are one of my favorite resources to use with students. So I am very excited to be able to share them with you. Before we get started, I know it's been there a million times, but I am going to drop in the chat the link to our Google form. So as we are going through this video, if questions come up, feel free to throw them in there, and then we will get to them either during the question and answer, or we will email you, as Justin alluded to. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, in case you haven't been in one of my sessions, I have taught every grade from pre-K to 8th grade. I was in the classroom for 18 years. I was the Michigan World Language Association Teacher of the Year in 2020. And I'm not sharing those things to be like, I'm so great. I just want you to know I have lots of classroom experience, and I am excited to share some of the things that have worked best for me with all of you. Without further ado, let us get into our interview videos. So today we're going to go over where you can find these videos in the curriculum, why students love these videos and why I love them, how you can use these videos with students, and how else these videos can be used with students, because they can be and are able to be so much more than just watching a quick video. There's lots of things you can do with these videos. And I'm excited to share some of my favorite strategies with all of you. Okay. So where can you find these videos? Most of the examples I'm going to give today are going to be with our Spanish titles, but that's just because was a Spanish teacher, and unfortunately I do not yet speak all of the languages that we have at Voces, though I would love to someday. I have 3 children right now, though, so they keep me too busy to do as much language learning as I might like to. But we have in Nuestra Historia, in the Spanish series, you'll find the interview videos under the extra section under entrevistas. In the French, they're in the encore section and they're under interviews. In Italian, they're under the ancora, and I know I didn't say that right. And they are here under interviste. And then in the German, they're under das Interview, under the extra section. In our Storyscape English title, they are under culture and connections and then interviews. And all of these interviews have great ways that you can connect with your students. And I am excited to share them with you right now. Okay, so before I start a video with my students, I like to have them make predictions. This would be after they've learned the vocabulary that goes with the video, and I will show you where I would do this in the rollout of the video for students. But I wanted to actually do this with all of you really quickly because it's such a fun way to get students excited about what they're going to see. So I would just show my students a picture of the person, and then I would ask them, what do you think her name is? So go ahead and throw it in the chat. What do you think her name is? There's no wrong answers here. What do you think her name is? Inés, Lucia. Oh, I love both of those names. No, her name is not Inés, but that's a good guess. No, her name is not Lucia, but that's a great guess. Well, Esmeralda, Lupita, Clarita, Pilar. Oh, these are all the great guesses. I did kind of give away, it says Lara at the top. But I would just show it. Her name is Lara. I would just show the picture to my students. I wouldn't show that part of the top that gives away. And yes, I also love this video. That's why he loves this video. And he will not answer because he's seen it many times, which I appreciate. I love this video too. That gives you lots of repetitions of some key vocabulary. So I would have lots of repetitions of her name is not, her name is not, over and over and over, warming students up for what they're about to hear. Then I would ask them to guess where she lives. And again, lots of extra repetitions of she lives in, she does not live in, before you even started the video. I would ask them, what does she like to do? And lots of repetitions of she likes, she doesn't like. What is her favorite weather? And I'm asking that question because I know it's coming up in the video. She likes this weather, she likes that weather, she does not like this weather. Because you can just repeat the student guesses over and over, and that's lots of extra repetition of the language that you're about to use. And finally, what weather does she not like? She does not like, she does not like, I think she does not like. And all of this will be in the target language, and it's lots of repetition that are gonna get your students ready to listen to this adorable video. So I would start the day I'm showing the video, which is showing the picture of the person in the video and having students make predictions about the video. And those predictions would include the language that I know they are about to hear in the video. And I'll show you where you get that language too, so that they're really ready and invested in hearing this video. Now, I am going to start with showing you this adorable video so you know what we're getting into, but then I will tell you all the things I would do before the video, all the things I would do during the video, and all the things I would do after the video. This video is in Nuestra Historia, and if you go into the directory, as I showed you before, here's Unit 3, here's Extra Extra, here's Entrevistas, and here's Lara. This little mountain that you see next to her page means that there's a can-do statement to go with this. And it does, if you have student accounts, have the students fill out the can-do before, and then they get to do it after at the end too, which is great. So now we're gonna just watch this adorable video, and then we're gonna talk about all the things you can do with it.
Hola, soy Lara.
Can you hear it, just to make sure I share my sound? Okay, awesome.
Y mi nombre se deletrea Lara.
I'm gonna pause it and show you, you can also put on subtitles, especially for our lower learners, our beginners. Having those subtitles and being able to read and hear at the same time really makes it a lot more accessible for them.
Y yo vivo en Santiago de Chile. En Santiago hay muchos parques para patinar y muchos parques de jugar.
You can also, I don't want to interrupt Lara, but you can also go to this setting and you can change the speed. So if your students are enjoying it, but maybe it's just a little too fast for them to comprehend, you can change the speed and make it slower and again, more accessible to all students.
Y a mí me encanta. En el verano hace mucho calor.
And we're going to go back to normal speed. I just wanted to show you that availability is there.
Y en el invierno llueve mucho y hace mucho frío. ¿Qué me gusta de Chile? Me gusta patinar, pintar. Cuando hay a las plazas para pintar, eso me encanta jugar. Es muy divertido Chile. Lo que no me gusta de Chile es que las playas son muy frías y cuando hace mucho sol no puedo ir al parque. Bueno, me encantó hablar con ustedes. Chao.
She is so adorable. How can you not love that video? It's one of my favorites. So that's the video, and now I'm going to show you all the things that can go with the video. When you're deciding which videos to use, and we have a lot of interviews, you don't need to use them all. Use the ones that are just right for your students. Consider your audience. Oh, can you hear me? Someone said no audio. Can you give me a thumbs up?
I can hear you.
Okay. Might be, if one of our hosts can check in with Margarita. She says no audio. Maybe you can help her out. One of the room hosts. But I'm going to keep going just because we are limited time. Consider the audience, like the age range of your students. Are they going to relate to the person in the interview video? Are they going to think that this is someone that I have something in common with? Are they going to be interested in what the person has to say? Consider their proficiency level. I would not start a chapter with one of these videos unless I'm talking about fast processors or heritage students who already come in speaking the language. I would use these after some other activities, which I will explain in a minute. And consider the connections your students can make to the person in the video. You know, connections to self, what do they have in common with them, and connections to the world. Because one of the most important things we can do as language teachers is help our students realize that our language is not just in the classroom, it's outside of the world, it's real, it's growing, it's a way to learn about other people and other places. And so that's one of, to me, like the most powerful things we can do as language teachers is help our students understand that languages are outside of the classroom. Now, what I like to do before doing one of these videos is I like to pre-teach the vocabulary in the chapter. Teach using TPR, total physical response, personal question and answers, and the stories. You can also use the transcripts for the video to prepare. This is the chapter vocabulary for the story, and this is the transcript for that video that we just watched. And you'll see that there is a lot in common, and that is on purpose, right? El verano, the summer is there. Hace frío, frío. El invierno, sol. All of those words are part of the chapter vocabulary. So taking the time to do the chapter vocabulary and the stories before you get into the video is one way to make it way more accessible to your student. You'll see this yellow outline that is around the transcript. That means it's teacher only. I don't usually show that to my students right away, but during the process, there is a point at which I say, go ahead and show that to your student, because reading that ahead of time, that's just extra reading and extra repetitions for your students. And again, it's going to make it so that they understand everything that much better when they listen to it. So here's the transcript. Right on the interview page, we have some extra vocabulary that she uses in her interview. And the transcripts I will show you. Someone asked where are the transcripts on the video pages. They are right underneath. Here's a transcript right here. The yellow outline means it's teacher only, but you can edit it and make that visible to students if you want to do so. But right on the same page, we also include some vocabulary that she's going to use that was not part of chapter vocabulary to help students get ready to be listening to the video and comprehending it. You'll also see that this is the story that's in that chapter. You have a lot of similar vocabulary: verano, calor, invierno, frío. That's all in the story. So by the time the students get to the point where they're listening to the native speaker talk about their life in a real place, they will have heard this vocabulary and these structures over and over and over, which prepares them to have this interview that's very, very comprehensible. After I've done the vocabulary for the chapter, after I've done the personal question answers, after we've done the story, that's when I would come to this page where we made the predictions. So I wanted to make the predictions before we saw the video, but it's at this point that I would have my students make those predictions. And again, making predictions gets their brains excited to hear her answers, so they want to know if they're right or wrong. It helps review one last time before they watch the video all of the language they're about to hear. And it gets their brains ready to comprehend the video. So this is at the point right before I watch the video, after chapter vocabulary, after the story, that I would actually have the students make those predictions. And you'll see that all the questions are kind of keyed into what she's about to talk about. And that will help students' brains be keyed into listening for that. Here is the transcript. And as I said before, do not be afraid to make that transcript available to your students. You can play the video once with or without subtitles, and then you could read it and play the video again. And the students will understand it better each time they get to hear it. Right on the same page, we have questions that students can answer to go with the video. These blue words, if you were actually in the program and I hovered my cursor over them, they're pop-up words and the English would pop up. The students who don't need them won't bother, but the students who do need them, that will make it much more accessible to them. They have that all right there. And then here you're seeing that they're answering these questions on their own, and they can listen to the video as many times as they want. And listening to that video extra times just gets them extra repetitions of the language we need them to hear. So that's not a bad thing. Here, they are filling in the blanks as they watch the video. And this is wonderful because again, it's extra reading to go with the language that they just heard. And extra repetitions are just going to make that language stick in their head that much better. We then later, so here's the entrevista, here's the actual interview we just listened to with Lara. Down here, there is a section that asks students to answer the same questions. So it says, and you, who are you? If you're a Spanish speaker. And then here it has students give a greeting, give their name and age, briefly describe where they live, describe the weather in their city, and describe the activities you like and the activities you don't like. And they just record and they get to talk. And you get to have this great assessment of where students are at as far as what they're able to produce or not able to produce. And because they can go and do this on their own and they're not right in front of you, it's less pressure for students so that they are answering in their most authentic manner. Another thing I like to do with those videos is follow up on a topic of interest from the video. In this video, he's preparing a dish. So you could have students research the dish or research recipes for other dishes from around the world, whatever country you're on. In this video, he's exploring restaurants in his hometown. You could ask students to look up restaurants in their hometown and decide a restaurant they might want to go to, or you could have students talk about restaurants in their own hometown. And of course, we've already seen Lara's video. You could ask students all the questions Lara answered in her video. What do they like to do at different times of the year? What is weather like in Chile? What might they want to do in Santiago, Chile? To access, someone asks, to access a video, should I be subscribed to Nuestra Historia Uno? You can definitely subscribe to Nuestra Historia Uno. Once you subscribe to one language, you get one book in one language. You have access to all of the books. So once you subscribe, like if you subscribe to Nuestra Historia Uno, you have access to all of the Spanish titles. So you could just add all of them. Then you would have access to all of the Spanish interview videos that we have. And one thing that I like to do is I might have some of my heritage speakers go and watch an interview video in a higher level title, and then do some extra research with that. So that gives them some like a way to learn about the world that's a little bit more advanced than the rest of the class might be on. So that's kind of just a nice little thing you can do for your heritage speakers. This video also comes with a suggestion to have your students have 5 conversations, and they just walk around the classroom and look for a classmate to have a conversation with, and then give them a high five if they want. So it's similar questions from the video. It's just a way to get your students up and talking. If you decide to do something, I do recommend you give the students the stems to answer so they feel really confident in their answers. And I always let my students answer either all in, especially lower level students, all in Spanish if they can, in a mix of Spanish and English. Like if students were not able to say, in the summer, I like to swim, they could say, en el verano, me gusta to swim, right? That just shows you where the students are at and what they're able to produce. If they need to fill in a little bit of English, that's okay. That's not nothing. It just shows you where they're at in their language learning journey. So that is another activity you could do with students. Really, you could do it with any video. And then one of my favorite things that we, is a not brand new, but newer feature in Voces are the pop-up videos. And you'll see here is the interview, and right down here is the interactive video. And when you watch the video, a question will pop up about the content students just heard. And then they have to answer it here before they can continue. Now, if they answer and their answer is wrong, one of my favorite things is they can replay the last segment. They can just click this, and it will replay exactly the part they need to listen to that will give them the answer. And maybe it's obvious to them, like, oh, if the answer was yes or no, did she do this thing? And I picked no, the answer is going to be yes. But taking the time for them to replay the last segment and listen to it again anyway, is just extra repetitions. And if they didn't hear it right the first time, now that they know what the right answer is, they're probably going to hear it right the second time. So that's just an extra needed repetition that's built right in there for you. And the pop-up videos are really fun. I like this. And then finally, this is one of my favorite things to do post-video with students, and it's called a smash deal. And this one I did because it went with this video, and it's a little messy, so excuse that. But basically what I have students do is right in the middle, draw a picture of the person in the interview, and then write 5 sentences and draw a little picture to go with each sentence. So I wrote, my name is Lara, I like to skate, I do not like cold beaches. I did a few more than 5. I live in Santiago, Chile. It's very hot in the summer, it's very cold in the winter, and I am 6 years old. I probably only have students write 5 sentences. With your lower level classes, you can give them sentence stems to like, me llamo, I call myself, me gusta, no me gusta, vivo en, I like, I don't like, I live in, tengo, I have. With more advanced students, you can have them create their own sentences, but these are really fun and you can stick them up, and students really like to look at the different drawings that they make. And it really gives you an idea, again, of what students understood and what they didn't, and where they're at in their language learning journey. Students, for the most part, really like to draw too. So these are a really low teacher prep way to get students reproducing language and reading language over and over again, because then they'll want to go and look at all the pictures their friends did, and then that will have them reading all of these key phrases over and over and over and over. Anytime I can kind of trick students into rereading things, I always find like that's a good thing. What do I love about these videos? I've already given away some of it, but I love for students to share about themselves, the same things that they hear in the videos. The more we know the students, the better teachers we can be for them, and the more more we can understand where they're coming from, where they're at in their journey. It connects students to peers. Like if Laura said she loves to build snowmen, and one of my students said they love to build snowman, and another student said I love to build snowman, and those two students have never talked to each other, that's a chance for them to do a peer-to-peer connection and to build community in your classroom. And community in the classroom is always important. It connects students to the world. That's their number one job as language teachers, right? Helping them to understand other cultures, and to connect them and understand that Spanish is not just a school subject. It's a real thing with real people, and it's a growing and changing thing, and it's a beautiful thing. So for me, that's one of like the most powerful things we can do is help our students realize that Spanish is everywhere, and it's not just in the classroom, it's a part of the world. So I really love that. And in the chat, someone says, I love the sentence sounds that makes you think that your planting seeds and stems are a beautiful part of the language growth process. Oh, I love that. That gave me chills. Thanks for sharing that. Other things you can do with your student in the hub. I know we've talked about the hub a million times, but we have so many good resources there, and it's free for everyone. So we love to talk about the hub. This gives you some extra things you can do with this video. And this is a little something extra you can do. And it says display an image for the class and have student makes predictions, which we kind of already talked about. And there are other video activities that you can do in the hub. If you have any questions, we actually have 2 minutes, which impresses me. Maybe I had enough coffee and talked a little extra fast. So if you have questions, you can throw them in the chat, but you can also throw them in that form, the Google form that we have, which I'm going to put in the chat again right now. Oh, beat me to it. If you are looking for more support, you can join us at 1 o'clock, sign up for a walkthrough, email us, info@vocesdigital.com, or you can sign up for the hub. If you are already a Voces subscriber, you just need to add the hub to one of your titles. If you are not a Voces subscriber, you can sign up at the link that I just put in the chat.